Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast, a 30-minute mini version of the In Wheel Time car show that airs live every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central.
Celebrating 10 years of award-winning car talk, it's the In Wheel Time car show, today coming to you live from the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In at the Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex restaurant here on the Southwest Freeway between Shepherd and Kirby Drive. We'll be talking to more of the participants at today's event. Also, Jeff's going to review our pre-owned car of the week, the 2018 Audi Q5. Conrad will have his car clinic, and we'll have the stories making auto news headlines this week. That and more just ahead on today's In Wheel Time car show for Saturday, April 18th, 2021. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world Mars, King Conrad DeLong, Jeff Dziekan, and Master Engineer David Ainsley. We are so glad that you could join us today. And you know,
we've even got the guests doing it.
And the one thing that I failed to mention, and that we really haven't gotten to because it's a little bit hard to see, the word of the day.
Yep.
The word of the day today is huckleberry.
I used it once.
Well, you're supposed to use it, not tell people. And then we're going to have people guess on Facebook what the word of the day was, and Mars is going to give him a gift.
You know, it would be great if you would tell me what the rules are before I spill the beans.
No. This is like politics. We're just going to make the rules up as we go along.
And you got to hit your bell. You used it. Hit your bell.
That way you're always wrong.
There you go.
Okay, Mr. Mars, it's your turn. What a lead-in.
Yeah. What a lead-in. You know, when we go out to the Mecum auction, you know, it's a great car show. We go look at all the cars and everything. And one of the things I'm always looking for and drooling over is the roadsters, like a 32 Ford Roadster. And we have one pull in the parking lot, complete with flathead and everything. And Gene McFaddin is the owner. And I got to learn more about this vehicle. Gene, how are you, sir?
I am well, thank you. And I certainly did not expect this kind of reception. As a matter of fact,
we were all on our feet earlier, but you just kept on walking by.
When you pulled in, we all stopped to watch your car drive by and then to see the flathead, and it was awesome.
Well, thank you. I was going to bring my 41 Studebaker, but it's parked ahead of the Roadster, and it's not registered, and it's a little more problematic to get started because it only started about once a month.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it starts, but...
Well, I noticed that you parked next to the Studebaker there earlier.
Well, that was purely coincidental.
Yeah, was it? Okay.
And I also own one half of a 53 Studebaker Commander, which is a Bonneville race car. But that's another story.
For another day.
The Roadster sitting out there was not commissioned by me. It was commissioned by a man whose name I don't even know. But it was in Tucson, Arizona, and he wanted to build a street rod the way a man would have built it in 1950.
Right.
From parts that existed in 1950. So he spent a good number of years assembling the parts, and he and a friend of his who owns a garage named Mick were going to put it together. And the man apparently had some personal reversals. I don't know the nature of them, but he had to abandon the project. So he gave it to Mick. I don't know what their arrangement was, but Mick did put the car together, and it is put together very well.
So is it got a Model A chassis on it?
No, it's a Model B chassis, a Model B chassis. That includes a lot.
Yeah.
Well, how about the frame? Let me put it that way.
The frame is 32.
Okay.
It is aftermarket. It's made by American Stamping. So it's not the original. It's not Henry.
Well, it's probably the best because those are rare and full of holes.
Probably is.
Yeah.
But it does have some other components in the chassis which are Ford.
Okay.
But they aren't necessarily 32. As a matter of fact, some of them are 28. So there's a few Model A parts.
All right.
Whatever people would have done back in 1950,
That's
they mix and match.
Right.
If it works, they did it.
Scratching stuff out of a salvage yard to build a hot rod.
That's right. The block is an 8BA, which means it's late 40s, early 50s. That was probably one of the best blocks. It's the one that's sought after.
That would be the end of the flathead era, correct?
I believe that there may have been a model after that, but yes, it was very toward the end of the flathead.
Uh-huh.
And it has a Mercury crank which gives it an extra 1/4 inch of stroke, which is something they
stroker
did
motor.
back then.
Well, and there's a lot of people that don't realize that there was a variance between a Ford flathead and a Mercury flathead.
Not much, but the
there-
crank was one of them, and that gave it a little more stroke. And it is kind of torquey, even though it has a cam in it. It's a mile cam, but it's a cam, and it makes some pretty good low end torque.
I've driven one flathead in my life, and there is something unique about it, and I can't even explain it. But it runs as smooth as silk. That was my impression of the one that I drove anyway. It was just a different feel to it.
Well, it is a different feel.
Good. Thank you for confirming that. I thought I was losing my mind. But
No, you weren't losing your mind. Now, if it had some wild cam in it, then it probably wouldn't have been as smooth.
This car
down
did
low.
not have that.
No. Well, mine doesn't have a wild cam either. As a matter of fact, I've noticed that when I really want to accelerate, I'm in second gear and I'm really zooming up. When I'm ready to shift, I look down, it's 3,500 RPM. So I don't think I've ever had it above 4,000.
But, I mean, back in the day, for a flathead V8, the beginning of the V8 era, that's pretty good.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
very much
That's
so.
right.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
So those aren't factory heads on it, though.
Sharp. Sharp head. They're made by Sharp.
Sharp, okay.
And that's the one thing that really attracted me to it. Let me tell you, I flew to Tucson to meet with a friend, and he's a friend, a Bonneville type friend. He races a sports car out there at Bonneville. And he picked me up at the airport, and I had just sold a Lakester. My first race car was a Lakester. I've started at the top, and I'm working my way down.
Okay.
And I'd sold the Lakester, and Bonner asked me, he says, what are you going to do now that you sold the Lakester? I said, I'm going to buy a street rod because I want to be able to drive something on the street without having to tow it 1,700 miles with a crew of 4 or 5 people. I mean,
Yeah.
So he said, well, what are you looking for? And I said, well, I don't know, but I do know that whatever I buy, it has to fit. He says, how's that? And I said, well, I've sat in a whole lot of cars that don't fit.
Yeah.
Too cramped, something, not
Sure.
enough room.
Yep.
So he
I
says,
know
well,
the feeling.
he says, well, I know where a guy's just completed a 32 Ford Roadster, a high boy, and he said, do you want to see it? I said, well, I've really sat in a whole lot of 32 Fords because that's what I really was kind of leaning to. I'd made a model of a 32 Ford when I was a kid, high boy Roadster.
Yeah.
So he says, oh, well, do you want to see it? And I said, sure. So we go over there, and that car's sitting out front of this guy's shop.
Did it look like that then?
It looked just like that then.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
I've done nothing to it.
It's
other
beautiful. We love it.
So I look at it. The paint was fresher then. I need to do something to the paint. It's getting a little gray. But
Yeah.
anyway, so I walked up to it, and of course I saw the finned aluminum heads, and I said, well, they're probably Offenhauser Edelbrock. You know.
Well, I thought when you drove by, I thought they were offies.
Well, of course. Either that or Edelbrock, right? So I look at it and say, Sharp. I said, oh, Sharp heads. Huh. So then I look at the manifold. It says Thixton. I said, Thixton? And my friend says, yeah, that was a big brand name back in the day. I said, really? So I go in and I say, would it be okay if I sat in this car? Sure. I go out and sit in it.
And it fit.
It fit.
Oh,
I bought it.
there you go.
Now, there was some negotiations, of course. I didn't say
Oh,
it
it
fits,
is.
I'm buying it. But,
Yeah.
I gave him a day or two to sit on it, and we came back and we negotiated.
It's got
and blah,
2
blah.
carburetors on it.
Yes, 2 Stromberg 97s. And a flathead, there's probably not too much need to put any more carburetors in that because...
You can only pour so much gas in it.
well, there's only some air. Hot rod, what you're trying to do is get more air.
Well,
it's easy to put more fuel.
How is it trying to balance those carburetors?
They're balanced.
Are they?
Well, if they're not, I don't.
just
if they're not,
throw
I
it
don't
on
know.
there and they're balanced.
Yeah,
I
they
got it.
don't give you any problems then.
Yeah. So is it a 12-volt system or a 6-volt system?
It is a 12.
It's a 12.
In that generator housing, I'm told, is an
Is an
alternator.
Okay.
And,
Well, that keeps it period correct looking.
But
a whole lot more
there are
stable.
2 things the guy did. That one is a 12-volt, and the other, and then the headlight, inside the headlight cans are modern lighting.
Interesting.
So it has a turn indicator too. kind of attaches to the.
Yeah,
Yes,
collar.
I remember
Yeah.
those.
Bolts
Yep.
onto the
So anyway, when I turn that on, there's little amber lights in the bottom of the headlight. I mean, you know, so and then the other concession that was to comfort was it does have an upholstered Glad seat instead of, say, aluminum bomber seats.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
so I mean, I'm glad of that because I'm 76 now.
It's a little tough on the butt when you're sitting on hard aluminum.
Well, it's a pretty rough ride anyway.
firm.
People say, "Well, how fast you drive it?" And I say, "Well, I like to take it up to about 60. I've had it over a little over 70, but above 60, it gets lively."
Yeah. Right.
You got to drive it when
Yeah.
you get up
Dancing
there.
around.
People say, "Kind of squirrely." I say, "Well, not quite squirrely yet, but it gets lively."
It lets you know it could get squirrely.
So,
Yeah,
does it have leaf springs all around it?
It does. It has leaf springs on front and back. You know, the crossways.
And Corvette thought they were the first ones to do it. Little did they know that Henry was doing it way back in the 30s and 20s.
Well, I mean, just that in itself makes it tightly sprung when you don't have any weight on it other than a very thin body, and not much of that anyway. So it rides stiff, I'm sure.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. There's not a thin body on the left, but the rest of it, you know.
How fun is that? I mean, that's a fun car.
I bought it in 2011 and early. That's really when it was delivered. I think I bought it in late 2010, but it was still out in Tucson. And it got here, and I've been enjoying it ever since. I drive it to some of the little local shows like this.
Right.
Right.
And I was so delighted. Now, I heard you say that the next one of these is going to be back out in Katy.
Yeah.
But do you expect to
Well,
come
this one is supposed to be here, just that we're going to be out in Katy.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, but you want to drive all the way out there to see us again, I can tell. That look in your
Well,
eye.
I could, but what I'm interested in, I live very near here.
Right.
So this is
But
very
they'll still be
convenient.
having a show here.
The third
good.
Saturday of the month, they'll be
Okay.
right here.
So it's y'all that
We get
y'all
to move.
sleep around.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's exactly right. We
Okay.
do.
Okay.
I've only been married once.
We do sleep around.
Don's my huckleberry.
Okay. I have a
I
word
get a ding. Thank you.
for next week. You can use the word thingle.
Fingal.
Yes,
Thingle heads.
It's thingle. It's
We'll have to
more
look it up.
sophisticated than thingy. You know, like this is sort of a thingy. You know, but
Right, yeah.
Oh.
If it's a little more sophisticated,
Oh, a
it's a
thingle.
thingle.
The thingle.
Instead of a thingy,
Yeah.
it's
All
a
right, well,
thingle.
we'll keep that in mind.
Like a whatchamacallit.
We're up-
And
Upscale.
by the way, I've copyrighted that, so I want a royalty if you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll give you all the money we
Checks
have.
in the mail. Yeah.
So you have any other plans other than just to drive it? Did you want
I do
anything
not.
mechanically that you want to do to
I
it?
do not. It is what it is. The guy did a great job of making a 1950 era street rod.
And it's reliable.
And it looks very.
The biggest problem I had with it was that occasionally when I was driving it, particularly on a very warm day and the temperature got up a little over 160 on the gauge, whatever that might really be,
Right.
is that it would suddenly, usually when I'm idling, it would suddenly die and refuse to start. Well, obviously I figured vapor lock.
Yeah.
So almost every time it happened was near a little corner grocery, and I'd go and get some ice and put it on the fuel line and the carburetor and all that. And if I didn't have that, I'd just dribble some water over it, you know, being careful not
Cool
to drop
it off.
water on the block. And after a while, it would restart. And so I said, I'm going to make that. One thing, the guy had routed the fuel line right over the bell housing. And this happened
absorbing
frequently.
all that heat.
Yeah, and frequently when there are at least 2 or 3 times when it happens when I was in a lot of stop and go, you know, using the clutch a lot.
Right.
So one thing I did is a buddy of mine and I got some steel line, and we rerouted it to where it doesn't go near the block or the bell
heat,
housing.
yeah.
And we also wrapped it with insulation. I said, God, finally this problem is solved.
No, it wasn't.
And I was driving home, and it quit, exactly like before. And I said, well, if it's not fuel-related, it must be electrically related. I'm going to replace the coil.
The coil.
The coil. So I replaced the coil in the ballast resistor under it. Hadn't had a problem with it.
Yeah, I remember. Now that you say that, I remember some of the old Chevrolets back in the early days.
Well, wait a minute.
Housing
No,
was
how
cracked.
early was it, Mike?
It was
The
long time ago.
1950s, huh, Mike?
No, it was in the 60s. But the housing on the coil itself would crack, and it would
bleed
start
out.
doing
Oh,
that.
yeah. So it apparently was the coil.
So tell us about your hat, because your hat, people probably can't see. It says
Well,
Bonneville 200-mile-an-hour club life member.
yes.
So was that in your Lakester?
No. The Lakester, when I bought the Lakester from Nick Arias, it was the Arias Lakester.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was iconic. And
Very much
everyone
so, yeah.
should own a car that's that iconic once in their life. And sometimes I regret having sold it, but you do what you have to do, you know.
Yeah.
Life goes on. And so do the expenses.
I got one of those myself. But,
So, after I sold the Lakester and owned this Roadster, I teamed up with a couple of guys. One of them was a Norwegian, but he grew up here, went to A&M, and he and another guy owned a modified Roadster, B-blown gas modified Roadster, which is a class. The B is the engine size, and the rest describes the car and what they do to the engine, like blown gas.
yeah.
Anyway, so I teamed up with them. Oh, well, first, the Lakester. The Lakester record was pretty soft. It was 274 and some change. And it should have been around 290. So I was trying to set a record with his Lakester. And I should have done it, but it's never easy. And there's always little problems. that
Always
crop
something
up.
comes up.
Always something happens that frustrates you. And first it was the lifters, and then it was an oiling problem. And anyway, then a guy came out there. Oh, and by the way, the Lakester was about 20 years old.
That helped a lot.
Yeah.
And can we assume it had an Arias Hemi in it?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It had the Arias Hemi, yes. And which is quite an engine, really.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's
Yeah,
that
he
was
wanted to be the drag race engine of choice, but it turned out being more used in tractor pulls and offshore racing, boat racing.
More power.
Yeah,
Instead
and
of
reliability.
speed.
It was
A little more
it was
durable.
beefy, yeah.
Yeah.
But it never really caught on with the drag race crew community. But anyway, I didn't set the record, and Seth Hammond came out with his new state-of-the-art carbon fiber, beautifully streamlined, exhaust not out in the wind, and he pretty soon ran the record up to 290 something, which is where it belonged, and he's subsequently gotten it over 300 in that class.
Yeah.
So anyway, took the Lakester out one year and let the crew drive, because they had never been able to drive it before, because we always had some problem that made us stop.
Welcome
So I
to
let the-
Bonneville.
Yeah, at Bonneville. So I let the crew drive that year, and they loved it. There were 6 passes made by 3 of them, 2 each. And, there's some stories there, too. But anyway, I teamed up with these guys with the modified Roadster, and we've went out there the first year. Oh, and that Roadster held the record, by the way. And one of the guys I'm working with got his red hat and that Roadster.
Okay.
So I'm working on his record.
Ah.
And the first year, twice, it qualified for the record, but wasn't able to do the backup run.
Okay.
Right, because you got to go both ways.
You got to do, actually you go the same way, but you have to do it twice.
Yeah.
It used to be you do it both ways, and you still do in the FIA meets. But anyway, so the next year we went out there, and I drove first. I drove second that first year I went out there with them. I drove first, and I managed to qualify for a record on my second run, and then I backed it up the next day. Unfortunately, there was some damage done to the engine, so we had to quit racing. But I did get my red hat.
Got your hat. Yeah,
Yep,
yeah,
got my red hat. And subsequently, I teamed up with a guy named Andy. He's here in Houston, Andy Lloyd. And Andy and I have a Camaro that we've been working on since 2013.
You're still working on it. Sounds like one of our projects.
It's a long story, probably longer than y'all want me to go into
Yes,
here.
it is.
But, but this summer is going to be the summer. It's for sale, by the way.
No, I'm good.
In August the 13th, I'm not trying to sell it to you.
Okay.
In August 13th, it's for sale. And the price I get for it or we get for it. Well, I guess depending on how well it performs this year.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So that's after you make the trip to Bonneville.
Yes, after Bonneville. Yes.
So I didn't realize there was anybody here in town that was going to Bonneville.
Oh, there's a bunch. There's a lot of Texans out there. Of course, there's Californians everywhere.
Well, we need to get a hold of you, and we want to do a Bonneville show.
You do.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So he's got your address and all, and we'll need to do that.
Speed Week is typically the second week in August.
Yeah. And we're trying to get out of Houston. At
water
the second week.
permitting.
Yeah, water permitting.
And if you've never been to Bonneville, you need to go. Every car buff.
It's a
needs
it's a
to go
bucket
to
list
Bonneville
event, right?
once, even just to look.
Just to say I've been there.
Just to experience it. It's a happening.
Yeah. It's an automotive bucket list thing, kind of like.
There's a song from the '60s called "It's a Happening." It's a happening.
Yes, that's right. Well, like Woodstock was a happening.
It was a happening.
Yeah, but there was that song.
And I was going to say, it's kind of like this happening that we're having right now.
That's right.
It's a happening.
So now, Andy, then we bought the Guam Bomb, which is a '53 Studebaker.
Yeah.
And it has held many records, or I'll say many, several. And the people that bought it from Terry Hunt, the guy who built it, who was an airline pilot, he was based in Guam, which is why he called it the Guam Bomb. Of course, he built it in Southern California, but he was based in Guam. And he flew all over the Pacific as an airline pilot. And he put it together, and he did a good job.
Gene, I don't mean to cut you short.
Yeah, you do.
But he's about to.
but I am, because we do.
Kinda have
Well, let me just say that this 53 Studebaker, we had now hold 2 records with it.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Andy
cool.
does.
All right. And the car's here in Houston.
It is here in Houston.
Well, one of these days we're going to see it.
We will get a hold of you and coordinate some kind of a Bonneville show.
I will be delighted.
Thank you.
If Larry Keast has his deal this fall, and we have our cars out there,
You'll invite us.
I'll invite you, and y'all can come out there and see not only our cars, but a lot of other cars, too.
We'd like to do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Gene, thank you so much.
Okay. Am I
Appreciate
going to sign a waiver here that
Yeah,
y'all can use
With
my
the email.
And we're going to
got
take
an
your
email.
signature, and we're going to steal all of your money.
both of
Have you
them.
seen the price of oil lately?
Yeah, right.
Actually, lately it's firmed up a little bit.
Yeah.
Gene McFaddin, our guest, and we thank you so much for stopping by.
Delighted to be here.
Thank you. Time now for our car review. The pre-owned car of the week, Mr. Jeffrey Dziekan, has an interesting car.
Well, I need to hand this down.
Okay, well,
I'm going to do it from
do
my
that.
spot.
Okay, do it from
It
your
should,
spot.
did I cue it up?
No, but I will.
All right, beautiful.
So, Jeff, what do you have, sir?
Well, I've got the 2018 Audi Q5.
You call it, what did you call it?
Audi.
An
No,
Audi.
You don't have
Q-
it queued up. Hold on.
Q5.
How about an
Go ahead.
Audi?
Audi.
Audi.
Like
Ow.
an ouchie?
Like an ouchie
Like
or
an
an
ouchie?
Audi navel?
I've got an
It's
innie.
an innie or an Audi.
Okay, so we're doing the 2018 innie Q5.
In any.
Good thing I don't get paid for this. It is an SUV.
None
It
of
is-
us do.
I know. It's a 5-passenger. And one of the things I like, this it's not necessarily exterior changes. It is just the exterior model, what the things are that are current on the vehicle. So you've got daytime running lights, front fog lamps, the Audi Guard protection. You've got hands-free entry, the sleek styling of the headlights.
This is an SUV.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a Q5.
Q in Audi is SUV.
Okay. I
Uh,
just
lighted
wanted to make
mirrors,
sure that
yeah.
everybody understood that we're on the same
We're
plane.
on the same
Because, there's podcasts available of the show.
Right.
Not everybody can see it.
This
So
is
if you're
true.
not familiar with a Q5 Audi, which isn't one of those things that rolls off the tip of your tongue like a, Chevy Camaro or something.
But I did say it was an SUV 5-passenger.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying it again.
And Rochelle, my daughter, drives a Q3, the little brother of this one.
Oh,
Okay.
very good.
Now you can continue.
There you go. Sports style grille. Some of the interior highlights of the vehicle, not necessarily changes, would be the multi-adjustable front seats on both sides. You've got the front and rear head airbags, infotainment, 8 touch screen with 180 watts, 10 speakers, 1 subwoofer, nav package, real-time traffic. And much like Mike's review, it's got the Bang Olufsen.
Bang,
Bang.
and Olufsen.
That's the one.
Uh-huh.
System with it's a 3D sound system.
I think that in these terms, we just call it the old banger.
The old banger. Yeah, we do.
Rita!
What?
Not Rita.
Rita.
Not Rita. 11 exterior colors, 4 interior colors, leather and cloth are the options. It is a 2-liter, 4-cylinder turbo, 16-valve all-wheel drive.
In blue.
In blue. It's actually called Rita Blue. The horsepower is 252, 273 on the torque, and it is in Newton meters. This is something that interests Conrad. It's a 7-speed automated manual.
Yeah, the Manumatic. They've got a
Manumatic,
like a DSG.
Yep. 23.
Rita was looking for a Manumatic.
Rita is. There she goes. 23 in the city, 27 on the highway, and 25 miles per gallon combined. It is an 18.5-gallon fuel tank, so you can go back and forth to Rita's house quite a bit. Vented discs, electronic power steering on the ride and handling with 235/60/18s or the 255/45/20s with alloy wheels. This vehicle, depending on mileage and condition, is anywhere between $30,000 and $40,000. Average below reliability rating, but it's got high safety scores. I tried to put those two together. I couldn't fathom it. Average cost for maintenance per year is around $6,100. Now,
Rita doesn't come to your house.
No.
She should, though, because her mother, she lives with her mother, so you can't go there.
Well, that's the maintenance fee.
But Rita started in 1909. If we're going to go through the review,
there you go.
Logos.
One more thing here in just a moment, and we will. On the recalls, you've got 5 recalls with airbag seatbelts, 2 of them on brakes, and then a structural recall. 0 investigations and 47 complaints. Now, last week's vehicle had 1,200 complaints. Now, getting to the logos, prior to the time that Audi became a company on its own, it was part of an auto union company. In the 30s, these 4 companies banded together. This essentially were the 4 rings that you see on the logo for today.
Audi,
I like
Audi, DKW, Horsch, and Wanderer.
Yes.
Were each of the 4 rings.
Well, the way in order is Audi, Horsch, Wanderer, and then DKW in order of the rings from left to right. And this happened before World War II, and then, of course, those 4 companies were responsible for making the finest race cars in Germany during World War II.
According to them
at the time. And, of course, that's when the logo started, and they used that logo on all the racing cars as well. And you see it today.
And that auto union went like 300 miles an hour on the Autobahns back in the 30s.
Exactly. Well, the story is very, very lengthy on this, but you can look it up, and you can see more of the pictures as well. The end.
It's a Volkswagen.
You could.
Well, it's part of the Volkswagen family of vehicles.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's an upscale Volkswagen.
No, it's not. Well, today they do share some platforms.
A lot.
Yeah. Well, I think the Q8 is an Atlas shared platform.
It's the Huckleberry of the vehicle.
Ding, 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 ding.
The In Wheel Time Car Show streams on Facebook, YouTube at InWheelTime.com. Podcasts available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, iHeart Podcast, TuneIn, Google Podcast, Pandora, Amazon, and Podcast Addict. Rita's In Wheel Time Car Show continues right after this quick break. And we hope that you're going to stay with us because we have much more coming here on the In Wheel Time Car Show.
Let me tell you about a locally owned and operated group of dealerships called Bayway. Bayway owner Daryl Wisniewski is born and raised right here, and he knows Houstonians better than anyone. Bayway Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, Bayway Lincoln, and Bayway Chevrolet are managed by Lincoln Stahl. And when you get to know these guys, you'll want to become part of the Bayway family too. Feel good that you're part of Houstonian-owned Bayway Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.com, BaywayChevrolet.com, and BaywayLincoln.com. Remember the name, Bayway. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's premier cruise-in, and you're invited to join in. Whether you're a cruiser or spectator, Tailpipes and Tacos is the place to enjoy made-to-order breakfast tacos, fresh coffee, and mingle with Houston's fun car people. Mark your calendar for Saturday, May 15th for Tailpipes and Tacos at the Lupe Tortilla Mexican Restaurant in Katy, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Tailpipes and Tacos is free and everyone's invited. You'll see collector cars, hot rods, customs, magnificent originals, and resto mods all at one location. Cars from all over Southeast Texas cruise in and show off in a friends and family event at the Lupe Tortilla Mexican Restaurant on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 in Katy. Drag racer, car enthusiast, and Lupe founder Stan Holt brings you Houston's hottest cruise in, Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, May 15th, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. at Lupe's in Katy. The In Wheel Time Car Show will be there too. Get your ride ready, and we'll see you at the Tailpipes and Tacos Saturday morning cruise in, May 15th, 8 to 11 a.m. at Lupe's in Katy, weather permitting. If you're in charge of your company's small, medium, or large business anywhere in the U.S., let the On Hold Company help you retain customers and promote your business on your telephone system. Promote special sales or company info when placed on hold. The On Hold Company provides custom on-hold messages with professional male or female voices, licensed background music with no long-term contract, no monthly recurring bill, and updates your messages as needed. Call the On Hold Company at 713-223-HOLD or go to onhold.net. That's it for this podcast episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.